Yo, what's up, YouTube? I'm Deontay,
And I'm Amanda.
and welcome to the Sims channel. So, we are back again. We're very excited. This is our very first video back on YouTube, and today we want to talk about the pros and cons of being married at a young age. We feel like this is important for people, for young people who may be engaged, or you may be single and just wondering how it is to be married at a young age, or you may have that special somebody that you want to potentially be with for the rest of your life. So we're here to help out with that. Like I said, we've been together for 10, 11 years, so I feel like we got some wisdom to share when it comes to that subject, right? So,
Yeah.
a lot of years. So,
Let us say that we ain't perfect.
oh no.
We're not where we know it all. It's just based off experience and what we know.
Yep, what we've been through. So, like, the first thing I would say is, if you don't let the whole thing of like because you're young that you shouldn't get married. We don't believe in that, and the main reason we don't is like if you have that special someone and you think they're special to you and you have that feeling that they're the one and it could be the one, you don't want to just let that person slip away. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like if you let them slip away, then and if that's who God meant for you to be with, and you let them slip away, you may not ever get it right. You may keep bouncing between people because you're supposed to be with that one person. So it may
You
be
gonna
harder.
learn as you go.
Yeah. So if that person is who's meant for you, like don't just because of the fact that you're young, you feel like, oh well, I'm not gonna do it, or I'm not gonna treat her as a wife should be or a husband should be just because we're young.
And oh my God, you are going to hear a bunch of stuff like we did.
Yeah.
Remember how like people in the church were like judging us and
Yeah.
telling us to like leave each other alone, all that. So you're gonna hear
Yeah.
a lot of negative stuff.
It's gonna be negativity.
A lot of it.
It's gonna be negativity. Like I said, just because you're young alone, you're gonna get that negative feedback. But if you know, you just know. So if you have any doubts right now about, hey, should I marry this person? You know, just off the fact. Now, if you're not ready because you're not mature yet, then of course, don't just jump into it and get married. I know that personally. But if you are mature and the person you're with, you both are mature and you both want to get married, I say go for it. You know, of course, listen to advice though from your parents and you know from older people and stuff like that who may have some advice for you. Cause maybe they could see something that you don't see, possibly.
I say the one important thing, because we did it, is marriage counseling.
Marriage counseling.
Marriage counseling before you get married.
Before, which
we did it twice.
we did a little bit, but we didn't do it as much as we should have.
Yeah.
But we end up getting counseling later on. But yeah, like people got advice, you know, take it. But like I said, if you know that person is for you, life is all about risk. So if you know that person's for you, man, just do it. You know, jump out there and do it because you never know. If that person's for you, then you know. But if you let them slip away, you always wonder, dang, what if? You know, what if that was the one for me? Maybe I should have took it more seriously. So we have a few subjects though when it comes to being married young, and also touching a little bit on like being married young with a family as well, like if you have kids involved. So we'll touch on both of those subjects. First thing is less time out. This is mainly for people with kids. Not really, because being married young doesn't mean that life totally changes or you have less time out together or to be able to do things.
Ending.
Yeah, because I mean, it's still just you. It's still just you and your spouse. You just secluded to one person, the person you want to be with. But if you have kids involved, that makes it to where okay, it's a little different. Especially if you have more than one child. And if maybe you don't have a lot of people that will help and watch the children, you may have less time out, as far as going out and dating and going out doing hobbies that you like to do, it may go down a little bit. So that's one thing you have to think about when it comes to being at a young age and getting married and potentially having kids. Our advice, because we had our oldest daughter, we had her before we was married. And then we got married shortly after though. She was only a few months or might have been a year old.
She was
when
I got pregnant at 16, delivery at 17.
Yeah.
engaged at 17 and then married at 18.
Yeah. And I think our daughter was like a year old or something like that. So, you know, we know all about it. Our advice would be, if you know you want to be married, get engaged. My top advice would be get engaged to that person, and the perfect trial period is seeing if you could possibly, because everybody's situation is different, but if you can possibly live together while you're engaged and maybe do that for a year, then you can really see, okay, because you can tell things about people more when you actually live together, right? That's what we did. I got engaged to her and we lived together for a whole year before we decided, okay, we put a date out, and then, you know, we lived together for a year, and it was a good trial period, you know, for the most part, so we decided to go ahead and get married.
The main thing is, if y'all living together and y'all, like, having some downs, you know, up and downs and stuff, you gotta learn how to work it out, and the other one gotta be willing to change, or whatever it is.
So, less time out, but like I said, it's mainly if you got kids. But, you know, if you have certain things in place and in order, and you got some babysitters,
like the help of the family.
Yep, family members helping.
It'll be fine.
It'll be okay. Yeah, it'll be a breeze. So everything still depends on, you know, is what you make it, pretty much. And that's with everything in life. So next thing is, make sure you are 1,000% ready to be married before you get married. I'm speaking this from personal experience. My wife's younger than I am, but she'll tell you right now, I wasn't ready. I didn't make the best choices, and I was not 100% ready. I was still very immature, so I did not handle a lot of things the way I should have. But, you know, we'll get more into that in later videos, because we got some good stuff coming. But make sure you're ready, and make sure that your maturity level is definitely intact. Because if it's not, you're going to have a lot of issues that will come back and haunt you later on. Got anything to add to that? No?
Self-explanatory.
Pretty much self-explanatory. Make sure you and your spouse are both ready. And the way to make that happen is communicate.
I say though, financial-wise, like, you're not going to be like top, like, a whole bunch of money and stuff, but, you know, making right decisions financial-wise, and of course, as far as the relationship, whether it's cheating, lying, you know, all that. So.
Yeah, and that's the next thing is finances. A lot of people, and I agree, like I said, it depends on your situation. A lot of people would say, graduate high school, go to college, then after that, talk about marriage. And the main reason for that is finances. If you get married very young, if you get married, you know, 18, 19, 20, I know people got married at 16, 17. If you get married in your early 20s or something like that, you may not have your finances totally intact because you took on the role of getting married. Getting married, though, doesn't mean that you can't go to school. I mean, you can still go to school and do your thing while you are married. But, like I said, it gets a little different if kids are involved. Maybe things won't work out exactly how it would if you were with no kids or single. But finance is a big part. You both will have to definitely make sure that you're making smart decisions and that you're a team when it comes to finances, especially in the beginning, because you may not fully be established yet when it comes to, you know, making money or financial situations and decisions.
Yeah, because everything becomes we.
Yep.
Everything becomes we.
There's no more, and that's the biggest thing. When you're young and you're a teenager, you're used to everything, unless you have a lot of siblings, you know, you might have to share with your siblings a lot, but as far as you in relationship status, you're used to you being able to do what you want and everything being about you. When you get married, this is the main thing. If you get married, you have to understand the concept changes to we. Everything you do is together with your spouse. That's money, that's anything, that's everything, that's whatever, anything you think of. Like, for instance, if I want to go buy a burger, and normally if I'm single, I just buy a burger for myself. If I buy that one burger, either I need to share half of it with my wife, share the burger with her, And if I get a fry, I need to give her half of the fries and half of my drink if I decide to get a drink. That's pretty much the concept of it. Everything that you get is no longer just you. It's split in half. So if you're not ready for that, and if you're a person that, you just want to, take care of yourself, you don't want nobody else, in that equation, then you should definitely take your time. But like I said, if you're with somebody that you both share and you both love sharing things, financially and, other things like that, then, you're pretty much good to go.
Yeah. Yeah. So everything that I do affects him and vice versa. Whether it's good, bad, it doesn't matter. Everything he does affects me. Especially for a man, because, they had a household or stuff like that. So, yeah.
You can't just make decisions on the fly. If you get married, every decision has to be talked about with your spouse, and it's best to both compromise and agree on it.
And don't take us wrong, we're not saying that marriage is bad or tough or, it's too much. Just, you gotta be willing to be open for change.
Definitely. One of the pros, another pro is building together. If you decide to get married early on or engaged early on, and both you guys are mature and decide to, go forward with one another, you have an advantage because you get to build together sooner than other people will. And that's a big pro. Like, if you both come together and you both like, hey, we want a nice house, we want a nice car, we want to build a life together, and you both start on that together, you will get further ahead than other people who decide to be single, because a lot of people who stay single, what do most of us do? We want to party a little bit, we want to hang out, we want to do some things, we spend money.
Eventually it get played out.
It does.
And, you want to start doing different stuff. Eventually it all get played out.
And you get to spending money on alcohol, weed, whatever, But if you're together and you're married, you might have more of a mature mindset to where, okay, we need to save some money in a savings account. We need to build our money, build our credit, do certain things like that. And before you know it, at an early age, you already own a house. You already have nice cars and things like that. So that is a great pro to being married, is that your mindset kind of already switches to an adult.
It can help you grow. It helps you grow.
Definitely. So that's definitely a pro. You have to sacrifice. Sacrifice is probably the biggest thing when it comes to being married. The hardest thing. The reason why it's so hard, if you love doing something when you're by yourself and you're single and you love doing something, the person that you decide to marry, you guys may really love each other, but that person may not agree with that one thing that you love to do, or that you like to look, or anything. So you may have to sacrifice some of your wants and some of the things that you like. And, it may not be fully sacrificing, but it may be more of compromising what you like. Sacrificing time, sacrificing a lot of things. Man, marriage is definitely hard work, but it's very rewarding as well. So like I said, it depends on how you make it. Marriage is really what you make it, but you do have to make multiple sacrifices for your spouse and for your family if you end up having a family. Sacrificing. You may have to be last sometimes. Me as the husband, of course, I know I need to put my family first and I need to be last. That's a big sacrifice, especially being young. I may want to do things on my own, but it's not like that sometimes. Sometimes I have to put her first and her wants and her needs, and vice versa sometimes. So that's a big thing about sacrificing. Patience. Patience is another thing. And a lot of these things that we're talking about, we say pros and cons. Some of these are both. Some of these are just a pro. Some of them are just a con. It really depends on how you take it, because everybody lives different. Everybody has different beliefs. So one thing may be a con to me, but it may be a pro to you. We don't really know. but we can really, we can just tell you the pros and cons of being married and just give out, our advice. Patience is big though. Being young, you really don't have a lot of patience. Really, right?
I know.
Nothing we say we're perfect at, so don't take us.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
We ain't fully 100%, but I ain't got no patience.
None.
Don't be like
zero. Negative zero. Don't take us as we're trying to be counselors or preaching to you about anything with marriage. We're just speaking off our personal struggles that we dealt with, our personal situations, and just wisdom that we've gained over the years. So
I'm just like that because anything I wanted or anything I spoke of, you know this. Yeah. I always had it. How I want it, the way I want it, when I want it. So, I have to change.
Yeah. So you gotta have patience sometimes. Yeah. Like, especially when you paying bills together, it's like, okay, I want this and I want it now. That's what you're used to when you're single and you're working and you're doing your own thing. But sometimes, when you get married and you're getting bills of certain things, it changes. You might not be able to get everything right when you want. Also, just having patience with the other person's growth. Like, for example, she may be on a whole nother level on a certain situation. Finances is one thing. Some things with finances, she's on a whole nother level than I am. But she has to have the patience for my growth. So she has to have patience to walk me through, to help me through, to get through there and not get overly frustrated. And it's the same with her. There's some things that she lacks on that I may be better on, but I have to have patience, to help each other, to help her and for us to help each other. So patience is another big thing that you have to have. So depending on the type of person you are, if you have no patience, and she doesn't have a lot of patience, but she still does have patience. Though.
I have patience.
It's good enough. Yeah.
But,
it's good enough though. You know what I'm saying? But there's some people, no type of patience. There's some people that have no patience. Like, and there's some people that's like, if you mess up one time with anything, if you do anything I don't like, you out the door. Some people like that. If you like that, be single. Stay single. Don't even mess with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you now, if you that type of person, don't mess with it because you just going to mess yourself up in the future, and go through a whole bunch of heartache for no reason. If you know you that type of person that you have no patience and you're not willing to really sacrifice at the moment, be by yourself. Live your life out. People do change and people do grow. Eventually, you may become where you will have more patience. And then you should talk about getting serious with somebody. Yeah. But until then, just don't bother with it right now. Yeah. Another big role though is marriage is blessed. Just in general, marriage in general is blessed. God ordains marriage, and we're Christians. But we're not like
perfect.
We're not the perfect Christians, no. But I was raised in church, and my wife wasn't raised in church, but she has along the way been in church and heard things, and she's experienced things herself. So we're firm believers in that God does ordain marriage. So that's a big thing that God, He honors marriage. Really, He really does. If you honor that person and you want to be with that person and you marry them, you will get a lot of blessings along the way just because that you're married and that you honor that person that you're with. So that's the biggest pro of them all is that marriage is blessed. You get multiple blessings being married and doing the right thing while you're married. We said a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure there's more, but we want to do a video where we're doing series of story time, so you guys can kind of see what we're talking about more. But we'll get into all that.
Yeah, and when we do vlogs, you'll be able to see kind of more personal in our personal life how some of these things that we talked about affects one another. You'll be able to see it live. The main message at the end of the day is if you love that person, you want to be with that person, you should stay with that person, do that person right, and I promise you will be rewarded in the end. I promise you. Very rewarding. And that's pretty much all I have.
Just make sure you're ready. Can't stress that enough.
Make sure.
Make sure you're ready.
Make sure.
Be ready.
Yep. Well, shout out to Amanda's friend, Morgan. She was the one who kind of gave me the idea. She said in the last video, the introduction video, that we should do a pros and cons video on being married. So shout out to her. Anybody else who has any ideas for us to talk about, that you have a subject that you want to talk on, we are open-minded, very open-minded. We would talk about anything. So just put in the comment section what you want to talk about, or you can hit us up on the social media, DM us, or whatever you got to do, and we'll definitely get to that. So look forward to more videos, challenges, vlogs, a whole bunch of stuff. Got some heat coming, right?
Yeah.
All right.
We do, so stay tuned.
Yep, stay tuned. All right, guys. Hope you guys have a blessed day. Peace.